Hi everybody, it is Monday the 15th of September. It's about 2:30 p.m. here in Western Australia where I'm at. It's a fairly miserable day, but I've been to the gym and unfortunately that whole Charlie Kirk thing gave the girl who has nothing to talk about something to talk about. So I am now going to inflict those meanderings on whoever happens upon this online message in a bottle. So there you go. I wrote some stuff down very loosely. I hope I get to everything because invariably I will get off and I'll go, I forgot to say that. So I hope I will get it out in a timely way without boring everybody. The first thing I want to clarify is about all those people who are saying that what's happened to Charlie was due to the precedent that Luigi Mangione set. I don't think that's really very accurate. Luigi Mangione wasn't the first person to engrave, write on bullets or casings or whatever it is. Politicians were. The likes of Nikki Haley and Marco Rubio writing messages on missiles and bombs. They were the ones that inspired that kind of behaviour. So if we want to hold someone to account for that, then I think we should be looking to our political, your political class, because mine don't do that. So that was the first thing I wanted to say because I found that a little bit grating for me. It was, annoying me. The second thing I wanted to talk about is just about Charlie Kirk and his engagements and his debates, because I wasn't very familiar with him. I don't really subscribe to that brand of conservatism, the trad wife, the Christ is king, the very socially conservative outlook. I was raised like that, and the fact that I have quite a good head on my shoulders is probably due to being raised like that. So whilst my life and the way I've turned out is almost the complete antithesis to that lifestyle, I would always encourage it to be the framework for society. And you will never change my mind on that. That socially conservative man or woman, mum, dad, marriage, children, that is the fence. That is Chesterton's fence. And we tore it down and we let the furries over it. Now we're inundated with madness, with things like furries and children going to school with collars and using litter boxes and men thinking that they can be women and women thinking they can be men and truly thinking they are the biological equivalent. I have no problem for the outlier who genuinely thinks that they're, born in the wrong body. These people have always existed. They still exist in some native cultures, two-spirit people, all of that. I am not opposed to any of that. But we have to recognise that biologically men are men and women are women. It's just, and then pumping people through it full of hormones and stuff like that. And that is not good. I think I said that in my last video. That is not good. So I don't know how I got to that. That's right, because I was saying that the framework of Charlie Kirk was the way to go. That's his legacy. That's what he promoted. And he's dead. And And the other reason why I wanted to get on today is because I was having a conversation with someone. I talk to a lot of people being a stylist, right? A lot of men, and a lot of ladies as well, you know. But the one thing that if you're single and everyone has in common these days is that you kind of are on dating sites. It's just the way it is now. A lot of guys just don't have that confidence to cold call a woman, you know, in a bar or in a pub, or if they see someone that they like. That seems to be a thing of the past. It turns out that we're now allowing algorithms and artificial intelligence to sort of sift through who we're going to have as a potential date, which could lead to being a potential relationship, which could lead to a potential, you know, marriage and stuff like that. And I find that very disconcerting. Not only that, but it's a business model. And I'm going to explain now why I find it really concerning, right? A newly single friend of mine, actually my sister, she doesn't know I'm saying this about her, but my sister, she's newly single, and she's gone on these dating sites, and one was $40 for a week, and the other one was $80 for the month. And I just like flipped out. I'm like, that's insane. And I was talking about it with a guy at work, and he goes, oh, well, but no one does it like that. I said, what? He goes, yeah, no, you go on a plan. And I'm like, you what? You go on a plan? Yeah, you go on a plan, like a phone plan, to meet your future significant other. Just blew my mind. That is insanity. I know we're living in a kind of a weird time between men and women. Guys these days, I understand. We've put you off. We can be a bit of a liability. I get all that, you know. I do. As a barber, I hear the horror stories. But please, if you can, find the courage to ask the girl out. If you see a girl that you like, find the courage to become charming. You know, don't allow an algorithm or an artificial intelligence to be that middleman between you and your forever person. That's all I wanted to say, because I think that's really important. That's the foundations of our society. That's all. I think I've said everything I want to say. 8 minutes. Woo! It's the second time I had to do this because it decided to cut out on me. So, what? I did have an anecdote, but when I told the anecdote, this sort of cut out on me, so I'm not going to do it. That's clearly a sign. Anyway, nice to see you all again. Have a lovely day. Catch you later.